Hey, good morning, guys. Welcome to another episode of Next Step Espresso, your daily shot of fitness. I am your host, as always, Johnny Landles from Next Step Nutrition, bringing you the podcast that helps you overcome the nutrition confusion and get results for good. Today, we're on episode 440. We spoke yesterday about measuring the right things in order to manage your progress, but there is a lot of stuff out there, right? If you just type in healthy diet to Google, you'll get millions and millions of results. If you walk into a bookstore, there are hundreds, if not thousands, of different books on the topic, thousands upon thousands of articles, different podcasts, YouTube videos. Anyone over Twitter that's a doctor wants to discuss nutrition. It is very hard for you to filter through the information and avoid getting overwhelmed, rabbit in the headlights, which is why I'm really thankful you're here listening to this podcast, because I know there are many podcasts and many fitness people fighting for your attention, and I love it that you've chosen Next Step Espresso as your podcast platform. So thank you again for being here. The best way for us to avoid overwhelm is to learn how to best prioritize, right? Just collecting information after information is very overwhelming. And with too much of it, you'll just be stricken into inaction. We've spoken in the past about how knowledge alone isn't useful and how we need to process that knowledge. We need connection, we need awareness in order to create change. So now, to avoid ending up being unfocused, we need to find the right balance between gathering the info and processing the info. So if you look back to yesterday's episode, we talked about what is important and why, right? What are you actually trying to do? Because your goal will determine the process you take, and then your process will determine the information you need. If you're trying to lose body fat, you need to try and implement a calorie deficit. We would recommend maybe tracking calories or looking at your internal hunger cues, or a combination of both, ideally. That then determines what do you need to know about. You need to determine what info you need to help you support fitting in a calorie deficit. Do you need to eat more veggies? Do you need to eat more protein? Do you need more sleep? Do you need more steps? Once you know what you need, you can start to look for the correct info that helps you put those things into place. Start small. We've spoken before about doing too many things at once. It's best for you to assess the information you need, think about the best next step for you, see what I did there, and think about what is the best next step. Is it just focusing on hunger? Is it just focusing on sleep? Is it just focusing on your step count? Because then you can focus on what you need to know right there and then. And then once you're doing that, what you need to do in the future will become much more clear. But all of the best people in the world know how to prioritize the info. They know how to prioritize the tasks to what exactly they need to know. So what I want you guys to think about: what is your objective for this day? What is your objective for this week? What is your objective for this entire fitness journey? Because then you can keep this in mind to tell you what to focus on a given day, on a given week, and on a given journey. And this will allow you to start in the right place. What is the one thing you need to do right now in order to have a great day that will help you towards your fitness journey? Because perhaps right now it's just about eating slowly, and that's all you need to focus on doing. Then in a couple of weeks, when you've eaten slowly for every meal of every day, now it's a habit, and you can think, great, now I'm going to focus on eating a lean portion of protein at each meal, and I'm only going to move on until I've done that at each meal. So focus on the one thing you can do each day, keep the objective in mind, learn how to prioritize the info you need for the actions you need to take, and then you can focus in very narrowly on just that bit of information rather than getting overwhelmed with a sea of possibilities in front of you. Thank you as always for listening to today's episode of Next Step Espresso. I hope you enjoyed it. If you did, please share it with someone who you might find it useful. Tomorrow night, we're running the Why Calorie Counting Alone is Failing You webinar at 8 p.m. You can register using the link in the show notes of this episode. Have a great day, guys, and I'll see you tomorrow for another shot of fitness.